Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the meeting of the Lebanon Utility Service Board for Wednesday, February 8th, 2023. Let the record reflect that the meeting was properly advertised and all board members are present tonight. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first thing we like to do is offer public comment, and I don't see anyone from the public here tonight, but we will offer it again toward the end of the meeting if there is no public comment. Next item is the approval of our minutes from our January 18th meeting. Everyone had a chance to review those minutes, and if so, any questions, comments, discussion? Not, I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion we approve the minutes for January the 18th, 2023.
Second.
Motion made by Bill, seconded by Ann to approve the minutes from our January 18th, 2023 meeting. Any additional questions or discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, our next item tonight's an action item, and our electric operations manager, Jeff Greeno, is at the podium. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I'm bringing to the board this evening to get approved some retroactive tree trimming invoices. In 2022, the board approved a not-to-exceed amount of $220,000 for Aspen Tree Experts to do tree trimming for Lebanon Utilities. Due to the timing and start of the project, we only spent approximately around $155,794 of that, leaving $64,206 unspent. We have submitted new RFPs for 2023. However, we will not be presenting them to the board until late February or early March. So to cover the first quarter of the 2023 expenses for tree trimming, I'm requesting to carry over a not-to-exceed amount of $50,000 until the new contract is approved. This will allow us to continue uninterrupted tree trimming services. For 2023, we budgeted $200,000 for tree trimming. If the new contract is approved, we will seek a not-to-exceed amount of additional $150,000. So we are recommending that the board approve a not-to-exceed amount of $50,000 with Aspen Tree Service for the first quarter of 2023 tree trimming services. This approval is retroactive to January 1st of 2023. Do you have any questions?
I guess Aspen would be, have the same charges for this first quarter that they had for last year?
No, the wages went up. The vehicle costs, they were the same, but the wages went up like everybody else's did.
This is actually money that we had remaining from 22 that we're moving to first quarter 23. Is that what I'm hearing? That this was, that we had excess funds, or?
The money's left over?
That's the way I understand it too. I've had discussions with Sandra about this.
All right.
Yeah, it's left over, but technically, we have an annual budget, so we didn't spend the money,
Right.
but it's not left over in that we do a new budget for each year.
Yeah,
And we don't intend to increase the budget this year based upon this amount.
Based upon that amount.
Actually, we'll
Right.
reduce, it sounded like we're going to reduce the ask for 23 from 200 to 150.
Right,
right, just,
Okay.
because we can't use that money. I understand.
okay.
Jeff, are we getting the service provided we need, though? I mean, pulling the budget back is great, but if we end up with a cycle where, you know, we've got trees getting into our lines and things, then we have difficulty. So what's your gauge, what's your feel with working? This one's been pretty good for us, I believe, but
Yeah, I think
what's your
I'm
sense?
going to keep a close eye on it when it gets farther into the year, when we get closer to that not-to-exceed amount, and see where we're at to determine if I need to come back to the board for additional funds or not. but I'm pretty confident everything's looking rather good out there on our system right now.
Okay.
Have there been any customer complaints about Asplund?
None that I am aware of.
Yeah, my impression is that they've been doing a pretty doggone good job for us. Is that your impression?
Yes, I think they do a very good job.
All right, any other questions for Jeff on the tree trimming? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
I move to retroactively approve in accordance with IC 36-1-4-16, ratification of actions of officers or employees and not to exceed amount of $50,000 with the Splund Tree Service for the first quarter of 2023 tree trimming services.
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Bill to retroactively approve in accordance with IC 36-1-4-16, and not to exceed amount of $50,000 with Asplund for first quarter of 2023 tree trimming services. Any additional questions, discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you, Jeff.
All right, thank you.
All right, next item tonight is an action item as well. It's InfoSense, the SLRAT. And Ryan Ottinger here is on the podium tonight. Hey, Ryan.
Good evening. This request is to approve the purchase of, it's called a Sewer Line Rapid Assessment Tool. The acronym is SLRAT. Not the not the most appealing name, but also if you are looking into sewers, it doesn't need to be pretty, it just needs to be effective. This is a patented program from a company called InfoSense. They came in and did a demo for us, and we went out and cleaned the line, and then we cambered the line, and taking into account that there was some cleaning involved, so you could take a couple hours off of that, but the camera work was about 4 to 6 hours total. The 6 hours was including the cleaning, so about 4 hours, and the same amount of line to have the SLRAT use their sonar technology was about 27 minutes. So this will not replace any of our camera work, but what this will do is this will help us gather data and pinpoint what areas need to be cambered the most. Also help us with lining projects, and also help us gather data. If we are going to do a lining project, we can place the SLRAT on that line, gather the data of what kind of flow or blockage we have before a lining project, and then we can also follow up after a lining project, put that back on there to show some real-time data that the project was successful, got everything out of the line, was able to free up any roots or anything like that, and the lining was not allowing infiltration or inflow. So, this will be another tool that we can use to combat I&I, that we can also use to help the utility save money. It takes a full 3-man crew to go out and do any camera work for it to be effective and efficient, about a full week by the time you set everything up, and that's assuming that we don't have, I have a 4-man crew for all the sewer collections in town. So that's assuming you don't have any other inspections or anything else. But this, a 2-man crew can go out and do this. It is also compatible with our GIS system. So the manhole numbers that are inputted into the SLRAT app and the SLRAT data will be the same manhole numbers that we can upload the data from the SLRAT to the GIS and vice versa. And it's also safety-wise. We don't have to have anything actually in the sewer, so nothing will touch any water going through the sewer. Nothing will have any type of sewage contamination on it. So it's much safer, and then also you aren't dealing with confined spaces. You open the manhole. This basically spans the both sides of the manhole, and the technology goes, you have one sending waves, for lack of a better technical term, one way, and you have a receiver on the other end that gathers the data for you, gives you a 1 to 10 rating of, or 0 to 10, I apologize, of being completely clean to completely blocked. And with a camera, that's a judgment call. You're looking at the camera and you're saying, based on my experience, based on the flow, this could be 30 to 40% blocked. This will say it's 6 or a 7. Then you go out back, if you need to go back the next year, it could say 8 or 9, so you know it's getting worse, stays the same. Or if you do some root cutting, do some jetting, it could go down to a 4 or 5 and make it less of an issue. So this is a great data gathering tool for our crew to use. And I can answer any questions that you may have. My sewer collections supervisor also moonlights in the technical department for the meetings, but he is here, so if you had, he participated in the demonstration, and then he came to me last year, and then we talked about it, and then came to me again this year, and was excited about this product and was something we wanted to move forward with. And as a supervisor and the person that's going to be using this every day, using the camera every day, or anytime they have to go out, after doing the research and listening to the entire field crew, I would agree that this would be something that we could benefit from.
Are there any recurring expenses from, in future years?
Yeah, there is the web, I think the web hosting is subscription-based, but it's, I apologize, I don't, well, let me see if it may be on the quote here. I don't believe that it is on there, but there is a subscription-based cost to that, but I think it's just mostly for software updates. There's no maintenance contract. They wouldn't have to come in and do any maintenance work, any cleaning or anything like that. It would be subscription-based, I think, for the web hosting and for IT. Oh, perfect. So Cameron, out of the corner of my eye, come around the corner, so he might be able to help answer this. But I will say also, based on the quote, that there is they will come in and do additional training upon purchase, so the training is included in the quote.
From my understanding, the first year is included with the purchase of the equipment, and then after that, every year after that, it's $1,000 for any services we need from them.
Would that include updates?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ryan, how often do we inspect lines right now? Is it a 2-year process, a 5-year process, every year? I mean, this, because our intent for this is to be able to test our lines on a yearly basis now, right? What is our standard now?
Well, not all of the lines.
Okay.
So what we, and Cameron can speak on this also, what we typically try to focus on is in areas that we have problems, a history of problems, whether it be roots or, I can speak of the jail, like just, you couldn't imagine the things that people can get
That end up in the
into
sewer
that
and
end up in
jail.
the sewer. So we try to focus on that, or project base. The Fordyce replacement was a perfect example of a project base that we cameraed, and we found that during the lining that we had some major issues here, to the point that the camera showed that it was so disjointed that we couldn't line it. Lining wasn't even an option. So that's what we try to do. And then what we also do is future project-based. We know we use different data, but we have temporary flow monitors that we can put in, but we can also use age and then just problem areas, and then camera that so we can get a scope for any future lining projects or any future sewer work that we might do. Is there more to it than that? I'm sure there probably
Yeah,
is.
I mean, we try to get out on camera as much as we can.
Well, I guess my intent here is to suggest that we have a strategic basis. If this is a more powerful and potent tool for us, then let's expand what we're doing on a year-to-year basis but have a, have a plan to it. We're going to do X amount, thousands of pipe, or X miles, X feet, whatever. I don't know what that is, but let's go to those, because now we've got more advanced technology. It doesn't take as much manpower, as much water, if I'm reading the presentation correctly. That's the intent, I think.
And that's our intent also. We actually meet tomorrow to update our yearly update for the capital improvement plan, the CIP for wastewater. And we talked about, when Cameron came to me to talk about putting this on, we talked with BF&S about coming up with a strategy to utilize this and then present this when we present the CIP with the data that we have, and then have a projection of how many feet of line that we want to do, and then be able to share that data with the board. And then in that way, when we come to when the board is asked to make sewer decisions on projects, it can be more data-driven than we think, we hope. So I agree. This takes less manpower and also is so much more efficient. Like Cameron said, it's probably a 70 to 75% efficiency upgrade as far as being able to narrow down where there's problems in the line. So that means more bang for our dollars, and when you're going out in a 2-day period, you can cover a lot more ground with that area.
Excellent find, Cameron. Excellent find.
How many years using this new technology would it take to look at the entire system?
I don't know how, for us personally, I don't know how fast we could go without having, you only used it for a couple hours for a demo.
That's fine.
But also the issue you'd come up with is if you find something that's blocked, you're basically going, or close to being blocked, you're basically stopping the process of gathering data, and you are now getting your jet truck out, you're getting your vac truck out, and you're trying to free up that line. So there's starts and stops to all of it. The plan is, I don't know how quick we can implement this, but if it's not by the time we present the capital improvement plan, then, give a 6-month window of kind of how many feet we've done in that. And that would give us some better data.
I guess if you found a line that's completely open, that you probably wouldn't go back and check that line again for a good little while. But if you find one that's, I guess, a 5 that's half blocked, then you'd go back quicker to check that one. Is that sort of the way y'all see it working?
So maybe the suggestion is that, we need something kind of process-based that tells us how this technology is going to be used.
Absolutely. And also, not just going out and, parking somewhere and just, explore, like have a data-based decision on where we're going to go, whether it's a trouble area, a known trouble area, whether it's age, whether it's, if there's a sanitary sewer overflow possibility in that area, what we can do to prevent that for the future.
This 1,000 feet of pipe needs it every other year. This 1,000 feet of pipe needs it every 10 years. I don't know what it is. But process-based, you can say, based upon history, experience, those types of things.
And with the field crew, the nice thing about it is with a numerical value added to that, we can come to a determination that anything over a 5 to 7 range,
Exactly.
you go back next year. Anything below a 5 is every other year. Anything above a 7 needs immediate attention. Whatever those numbers may be, I'm just,
Thank you.
And in that way, if we got to get the camera out, the jet truck out, we're not saying, I think that the blockage is here. We'll know it. Between manhole here, manhole 120 and manhole 123, we know is a huge blockage. Let's focus on that area. So it should be more efficient.
Is the data captured without data entry?
So I think you enter in the field your manhole numbers or however you label that. But the numerical value, I believe, is once it goes through, what does it upload or what does it tell you? Or do you upload that to the app yourself?
You just put the manhole numbers in, and then it counts the footage from manhole to manhole of how long the line is.
But it just uploads the data from the handheld, right?
Yeah, yeah.
An Excel file or a shape file, I remember from reading about it, so.
Yeah, you can.
There's some limited data entry, but not much.
Yeah, when you punch in the manhole number and, I'm trying to think.
You could attach it to the GIS so that
So
you
it
You can attach it to the GIS, but you can also export it to PDF, you can export it to Excel, Google Earth.
You can utilize Google Earth too, so you can have, if you were showing the public, if you're at a public meeting, you can show on Google Earth where it is as opposed to GIS where it's not always easy to,
And I believe you have to put the pipe diameter, pipe size in it.
which we have in GIS.
Okay.
So it's pretty minor data entry, but then it also saves the history. And then it assigns it a poor or blocked, poor or good rating, and then a 0 to 10 rating also, which will always be there. So when you go back to that, or you go back to that section of line, that historical data is there also. And it's an app-based, so you don't have to have laptop out in the field. It can be on the supervisor's phone, or the phone in the field, so you don't even have, so you're minimizing the equipment you need in the field also.
Thank you.
So the quote includes the app that goes with it and all that support?
Yes, the quote is for basically everything that they offer is support, the half-day training when they come in, all the technical support. So the shipping and handling, it comes with a second battery charger, and then also which if anybody has dropped the iPhone in their life, the foam cushion cover that goes over it, so if you drop it somewhere, carrying it from point A to point B, we're protecting our investment with a cover and not trying to look slick and not put the iPhone cover on
You
it.
got this money in the budget?
Yes, so it's under, sorry, I've got the wrong piece of paper there. We added it to the capital additions collection system repairs and upgrades, so it's part of the upgrades for the collection system. We added it to that line item in the budget. That budgeted amount for the collection system repairs and upgrades is $300,000, and this is $28,235.
Right, any other questions for Ryan? Ryan, I didn't see it in the brochure, but I'm guessing the guys that run this thing all day might hear that sound in their dreams at night.
Yes, based on the YouTube video we just watched, I think we're going to have some mandatory ear protection and make sure that all dogs are put in the backyard, because that was pretty high-pitched, but effective nonetheless.
All right, thanks for the info. Good stuff. Any other questions for Ryan? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the purchase of the sewer line rapid assessment tool, SLRAT, from InfoSense, Inc., for the wastewater collections department for an amount not to exceed $25,235.
Second.
Motion made by Aaron, seconded by Tim to approve the purchase of the sewer line rapid assessment tool, SLRAT, from InfoSense, for an amount not to exceed $25,235. Any additional discussion?
I have a question about, the invoice that I'm looking at is $28,235. Is that what the price, is it $25,000 or $28,235?
It may have been a typo. It is $28,235.
Okay.
28?
I amend my motion to,
And, yeah, still seconded.
was 28,235, is that the final conclusion?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's,
Thank you for catching that in.
that includes, I'm looking at it right here, that includes the case that Ryan was talking about, second battery, the training, and shipping. So it's $28,235. All right, so Aaron amended his motion to include the correct amount, $28,235. We had a motion and a second from Tim, correct?
Yep.
One other point, Ryan, am I clear that this is a proprietary product, that there's nothing else like that on the market that would allow you to go out and get additional quotes?
Yes, it is a patented technology that they have that There is technology out there, but nothing that doesn't require entering or putting equipment down in the sewer, or the speed and efficiency that this has. And when you're trying to get, there wasn't an apples to apples comparison just because of the patented technology that they use. So we did reach out, but it wasn't anything that anybody could say, yeah, we've got the same thing, but for 10% cheaper, or what the case may be. That is why we don't have additional quotes, yes.
Thank you. All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you, Brian, and thank you, Ann, for catching that cost difference there. Okay, next item is the South Side Well Number 3 debris cleaning, and Ryan is staying put for now.
Yes, this is a retroactive approval that I'm asking to be approved. Last year, the board approved 2 different wells to be cleaned, one at Chicago Street and then one at Abner Longley Park, which is referred to as South Side Well Number 3. And
Is this next to the splash pad?
No, sir. It is the newest well. It's kind of on the walking trail opposite of the splash pad, on the opposite of the gazebo or whatever that may be, the shelter house. It's not with, the one closest there is well number 1. If you're driving back, if you're going to the new water storage tank, that would be well number 2. Well number 3 is, I believe that would be, I'm not too oriented, but on the west side of the park near the walking trail.
Thank you.
And upon the cleaning, it was supposed to be routine, but we quickly found out that it wasn't. So everything was pulled out, and they were just doing the typical cleaning. And upon the camera work, it was found, and I don't know.
How often do they do the regular cleaning?
It's rotated, but it's based on flow data. So what we'll do is we'll flow test a certain number of wells every year. We have them on rotation. And then based on that flow test, it tells you what your efficiency of your pump is. And so the flow test will tell you what is the least efficient and what should be addressed as far as cleaning goes. And then we will base it off of that. We try to do 2 or 3 a year. And when we do that, that gives me cushion in the budget. And that's why we do them later in the year, in case there's an emergency and we have to have something replaced in the hottest part of the year. And then we do them at the end of the year, because that's when we have the least amount of water usage. So it's not, if we do have a well down, which this happened to be for an extended period of time, it's not as much stress on the system.
Thank you.
Ryan, let me ask you a question. Do you operate all 3 of these wells at the same time?
No, they are rotated. So at Chicago Street Water Plant, for example, we operate one at the well field that is at Chicago Street. We have 3 wells there.
Right.
One of them is in rotation, and then the same for Abner Longley Park. If you operate them more than one at a time, it takes more water out than what's allowed back in, and it will corrupt the aquifer. So as long as we do it based on the engineering standards and the hydrology, it will refill in a safe way to where it replenishes itself. So we rotate them, so they're on a 3-week rotation, but with this out, it was a 2-week rotation. So every 3rd week, that well will operate.
You're only operating one at a time?
In that well field, yes. So we have 2 on, we have 2 operating, but only one in one well field and one in the other, and they both feed the Chicago Street plant, and they both get treated together and then put out in the distribution system.
Okay.
So if I can get this without, this isn't,
Is this a panel that's in the well structure?
I'm sorry, what?
That picture we're looking at, is that panel, is that the window there part of the structure of the well?
Screen, yeah, you're down in the screen area. This is the bottom of the well, and this item right here is not supposed to be there. That is a stick. When I say a stick, I apologize. It's a metal rod / stick, not part of the well. And it's unclear of how it got in there. There was also a Cheetos bag and a Walmart, or I shouldn't say Walmart, a plastic bag. It was unidentifiable at that time, but did not have any holes in it, which is more than I can say for most of the times when I go to get new ones. But that was found upon the camera work, which is part of a routine cleaning. So with everything out of the well, and the well being down, we had a couple options. We could button it all back up, come to the board and get it approved, or we could, while we have crews there, while we have everything out, and knowing that we were going to have to do bacteria samples when we put it back online anyway, go ahead and fish these items out.
Is it normal for us to contract the cleaning?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, always.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a large job. You have to pull the pump, you have to, it requires a crane, usually a 2 to 3 man crew, and it is a very labor-intensive job and we did bid that out this year. We had 4 bids, and if you remember, this year was a little different. This well in particular, we went with a bid that was a little bit more money, but it was some newer technology, and it was a new company that we had not used before. So they were able to find this. That well had been cleaned about 5 years ago, and there's no record of any debris being in there. Like I said, I cannot speak on how it got in there. It's the first time I've ever seen it in any of our wells. And it was not that's what I asked him, did something break off in the process? And everything that was in there was not a part of the well and should not have been in there and wouldn't have been part of the equipment. So I went ahead and just made the call for an emergency to go ahead and have all of that debris removed. They put everything back together. We had our bacteria samples. Everything came back safe and sound, and that well is back in rotation. But during that cleaning, I went ahead and made an emergency decision to go ahead while they had a crew here and equipment here to go ahead and fish all that out. And I do have, it's a pretty large video, but I can upload that. It is not the most exciting. It takes a long time to get 200 feet. I can promise you that. And there's not a lot to it until you get down to that. So I can get some more still pictures if anybody needs any. And I can also send out, we get zip drives of every well cleaning. So we have historical data of that and that we can keep also.
Is this debris on top of the pump, or we go deeper?
It was basically lodged against the pump. There was no damage to the pump, or my concern was not the pump as much as the screen and the material that's not quite as durable. And so after they pulled that out, they sent the camera back in to assess if there was any damage, and there was not any damage. However, I think if we would have left that in there, obviously the potential for damage or wrapping it around the shaft and been in the shaft of that well could be high. I don't know. Like I said, I've never experienced it before, so I don't know if you could just leave it in there or not. I just would never want to leave anything like that in a well.
Are we concerned about well vandalism?
So I started in 1999. This is the first I've ever seen anything like this, and it wouldn't be vandalism other than if everything was pulled out and could have possibly been left unattended. Something could have been knocked in there when the workers were working, and unbeknownst to them, the rod fell down there. I can't speak on it. I don't even know how it got in there, to be honest with you. But I've never seen anything like that. The gentleman who has been doing this since he left the military for about 25 years said he's never seen it either.
Yeah, I'm ignorant about our well technology, so I apologize.
Well,
does it have a cover that can be locked, or?
It's in a locked brick building. It's in a locked brick building with security lights on the outside. And when I say locked building, it's a steel door, no windows, no anything like that. So it is not exposed to, like a well out in the country, somebody, you can see it in their front yard. That is not the case. And we have not seen any signs of locks never been damaged, doors never been damaged, and it's a cinder block building with a metal roof on it. So we saw no signs of foul play by any means.
Yeah, and the wellhead itself is sealed, too.
It is sealed and massively heavy, and also has about 45 bolts in it, so it would be a difficult process, but like, I can't speak on how it got in there, but we saw no signs of any foul play whatsoever.
My guess is probably was the last time they cleaned the well, something dropped in there and they missed it. But
That's what that would be my guess.
I've never seen
And,
anything like it either. So.
I mean, we've seen some crazy things when it comes to wind, and, they're doing it late fall in the winter time. You just never know what could happen. But I will say, the company that did this cleaning, this is the first year we used them, so one thing I can say is it wasn't anything that they had ever done. They just found it and wanted to get it out as soon as possible, and I went ahead and okayed that and to make an emergency decision.
Yep.
All right, I think you made the right call. Any other questions for Ryan here? Hopefully the guy narrating the rat video is not narrating this video.
No, it's worse. There is just no narration. It's just visual of a camera going about half a foot an hour, it feels like. It's tough to watch.
All right, any other questions for Ryan? If not, I would entertain a motion.
I move to retroactively approve in accordance with IC 36-1-4-16, ratification of actions of officers or employees. Approval be given for the payment of $15,898.75 to National Water Services LLC for debris removal from Southside Well Number 3.
Second.
Motion made by Ann, seconded by Bill, to retroactively approve the payment of $15,898.75 to National Water Services for the debris removal from Southside Well Number 3. Any additional discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Ryan, thanks for everything.
Thank you.
Okay, next item tonight is the approval of our claims, payrolls, and transfers dated February the 8th, 2023. Everyone had a chance to review those items, and if so, I would entertain a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve the claims payroll transfers dated February the 8th, 2023 in the amount of $1,372,736.67 for claims and payroll, and $8,253,705.74 for transfers.
Second.
Motion made by Bill, seconded by Tim, to approve the claims, payrolls, and transfers dated February 8th, 2023. Any additional discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, next item is any other business. I believe Mr. Oettinger has something.
And I probably should have stayed up here. Real quick, I just had just wanted to inform the board that IMPA recently, yesterday and today, put on a OSHA safety course, OSHA 10, so it's a 10-hour safety course. And we had a number of individuals take this course and get their OSHA 10 certification. I got mine last year, I believe, or the year before. Travis Brown, Matt Hutton, Bobby Williams, Tony Green, Vanessa Fisher, Corey Rowland, and Chris Chase from both water departments and both wastewater departments. So just more OSHA training, more safety training, kind of above and beyond. And I just asked if anybody wanted to go, and that was the list of gentlemen and Vanessa that went, and it was a good success. They enjoy it. Emma does a good job, and just wanted to congratulate them on their achievement.
What's the training mean for us?
It's just, so it's 10 hours of, it's utility-focused OSHA training. So you know the OSHA rules and regulations on, it covers electric, and then it covers a little bit of water, wastewater. For us, my biggest concern is if there was ever a catastrophe major ice storm, anything like that, and we had to send a water personnel person or a wastewater person out to assist the electric crew in a minor way, not obviously up in a bucket or anything like that, but they would know the OSHA standards and protocols for something like that, or at least have some knowledge for that. They offer a 10-hour course, 40-hour course, and so this just covers the basic, and also if there's any changes. Sometimes with time and knowledge, some rules and regulations change. So we try to stagger where we have different groups going every year, so they come back and then they'll kind of fill us in on how the training went. So if there's any updates or any changes, they can let us know on that. It's just more safety training and more knowledge of what OSHA expects, and not getting in a situation where we're not sure. And if we aren't sure and it wasn't covered, stop, let's reassess, let's make sure that we're doing the right thing before we proceed.
Good stuff, good stuff.
Thank you.
Good job, Ryan, inspiring your staff to do that. It'll keep it safer, just people having the knowledge when they're in various situations.
Yep, for sure. Thanks, Ryan. Any other business from the board tonight? Any other public comment? Anything you're aware of, Ed?
No, sir.
All right, looks like we're scheduled for the 22nd of February, 2023 for our next meeting at 5 p.m. Anything else before we adjourn? Entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Ann to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you, everyone. We'll stand adjourned.